Hi, welcome to the Red Booth Show. Tonight's guest is Jonezen. He's an LA Music Awards Hip Hop Artist of the Year winner, and he's also going on tour with Bone Thugs-n-Harmony. So check out our interview.
They say you gotta hit rock bottom before you know which way to go. Thought I'd seen it all, but I've never felt like this before. And it feels so good to be moving on, moving on. It feels so good, I'm about to do it all, do it all.
Check this out, I do it all, ballin' out just like I'm playing files. You call that fair play like I ain't heard of out of bounds. $1 million sentences, you call that buying files. And that Vanna white girl made my world go round. It's a little different now, had to settle down, but it's still fast money every time I rock a crowd. If you want cloud 9, I'm on top of 9 clouds. Little slice of heaven like the world mine now. I go get her, calling this my love letter. Told my girl that I love her, but I love this better. Now I'm killing everything that I touch. Vendetta, only reason I'm alive. All ties have been severed, like I thought that I'd be doing yay forever, ever. How you doing? Bring the heat, homie. I control the weather. Now I'm feeling like I got this game wrapped up. Safe sex, and then it all made sense when I heard that.
Hey Jonezen, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
It's so cool. I'm so happy for you with the big tour that you have coming up. And
Yeah, Bone Thugs will be fun. It's November, Monster Energy, Sound Rink, Get Loud Tour, Bone Thugs and Harmony. Yeah.
That's so awesome. I heard, so you're going to be going all over the West Coast?
Yeah, I'm just doing the West Coast. So LA, San Diego, Riverside, and then Phoenix.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, how many different dates do you guys have on a tour?
They're doing, I mean, the tour I think is 20 plus nationwide. And like I said, I'm just doing West Coast, so I'm on 4 dates.
Cool. So you're opening for them?
Yeah. Myself and a few other guys. Shout out Team Hans. Shout out Team Hans.
And so have you guys done any rehearsals yet or anything like that?
No, I mean, I do, I just played House of Blues last Saturday.
Awesome.
So, that's kind of rehearsal for me. Every show's kind of practice, trying something new and seeing what works and what doesn't. So, and I'm thinking about it in my head, I'm getting that set list ready. I'll be good though.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope.
Very cool. I know that you have a pretty awesome message kind of with what you're saying. And why don't you let some of our audience know a little about that?
About the message? Well, I mean, my story goes a little something like this. I was a member of a touring group for a lot of years, and we partied hard, and that was kind of like what my identity was. I'd seen some successes and then around age 24, it just got super bad, and so I ended up at age 27. I was almost dead from alcohol abuse. And I checked into rehab with a recording studio and recorded a mixtape called Live from Rehab, actually in treatment. And then, so I put in that mixtape just kind of what I was going through. My life was changing, I was changing, And that's the mixtape that kind of laid the groundwork for where I'm at now in my career. The group split up, I went on as a solo artist. And then, so that's what's in the music now. Now the next album's coming out. And you kind of get that retrospect view of what it was like, what happened, how I changed as a person. There's, I think there's a lot of hope in the records. There's a lot of hope. There's a lot of passion in it. A lot of passion, and it's certainly deeper, than some of the stuff I was doing when I was younger.
Definitely.
So yeah, it's definitely got a point and a message, and the response has been great so far.
Well, I really like the one that you did, especially with, you had a female, singer with you as well. What was the name of that one? Feels
So Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what sort of inspired that song?
The beat inspired that song, I like stuff like that, For those of you who haven't heard Feels So Good, it's got a guitar, blues, driven kind of sound, little funk in there. And when I got the beat from the producer, it was the name of the beat was Feels So Good. And then I said, oh man, this would be great to have a girl sing the chorus, And so I found a girl, and
who is she again?
Her name's Michelle Wineland.
Cool.
Yeah, Michelle
She has a
Wineland.
great voice.
Yeah, she's really talented. And so she kind of, this was our first time working together, so what she did was looked at my website and read my bio and kind of figured out who I was, and a little bit about my story. And she came back with that chorus, And her and I kind of fine-tuned it. She came to the studio, we laid it down, I did the verses, and there you go. There's Feels So Good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so was that was not necessarily part of the rehab story writing, or the songwriting that you did when you were in rehab, right?
Right, yeah, no, that was
Okay.
after. I was out, yeah.
Okay.
I had been out. Yeah, that's on the new album, Beautiful Disaster, which will come out, you know, I'm not even sure. I want to say early 2015. It's been done since April, but, you know, I signed with Concord in June of this year, right as I was getting ready to drop the album. And
Congratulations.
well, thank you. Yeah, and so they like, you know, slow it up. You know, they like do their singles.
They have all
and,
sorts of
yeah, you know, there's a
steps.
big process involved. So,
What is that like having a, you know, a record label rep? Like, what are the benefits and the things that you think people should know, like when they're going into that sort of a deal?
well, I think something that that people should be aware of. I should say an artist should be aware of is nothing is overnight. You know, things happen quickly, but then they slow up, and then they happen quickly. You know, be patient, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You know, but it's been a really good experience for me. You know, they do a lot of work. They've definitely elevated my career. I got lots of press, interviews, feature with Gucci Mane coming out this month.
That's
later
amazing.
this month. Yeah, so it's been good, you know, and.
How did that come about? Was that part of your record label's idea, or
yeah,
did you
that was all them. You know, I had the album with no features on it except for like female singers and stuff like that to you know spice it up. But then you know they got the album. They said, look, we need a feature. And I was like, all right. I mean, look, I'm open to it. You know, who do you have in mind? And he said Gucci, and I said, all right, man, cool. You know, I'll roll with that. I've been a fan, and it's a dope record. It is. It's a dope record. I'm excited to drop it for sure.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I know they were distributing through Universal, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, distribution's through Universal, so.
That's really cool. It's big time.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, they're just like going to bring so much to that, so you can really get out there.
I hope. That's the idea, you know, do all right now, and hopefully bigger and better, you know, as more time passes, so.
It's exciting. That's really cool.
Thank you, thank you.
What was like the first song or album, like how tell me a little bit about like how you first started.
First started, oh
Yeah.
man, I started writing lyrics when I was in like 4th grade, and I'd always wanted to be a musician. It was either that or Michael Jordan. You know, I liked to ball when I was a kid, and no, I'm serious. That was like
Yeah, you're kind of tall. I
know,
noticed.
right?
I was really surprised. Like, oh my God, I had no idea.
6'4".
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it was either Michael Jordan or a musician. And so like I wrote my first lyrics to an Aerosmith song when I was young, like 4th grade. And
Which Aerosmith song?
I can't remember, but I know the name of the song I wrote was called like My Life. And it was all about like, you can't tell me what to do. I was just
4th grade.
I know, that's like been a theme for me. You know, I was in a lot of trouble as a kid. I started getting arrested when I was young, at like age 12, I think, for drinking and smoking weed.
Oh no.
You know, so hence the rehab later in life.
Well, you know, that's actually amazingly common. I mean, nowadays, like in middle school, that's kind of already happening.
Sure, you know, so that was, that's what I was writing about then. And then that progressed, and I just kept writing songs and started playing guitar. And then I was into rock. You know, I listened to a lot of rock and roll, like Alice Cooper, Aerosmith, Metallica. And then I got into hip hop with Jump Around. And then that kind of just changed. And then in high school, we started, you know, lyrics turned into hip hop, and we started cutting a couple tracks. And, you know, then I just decided, like, professionally, I was doing it. And I moved from Detroit to Cali when I was 20. Just threw my stuff in the car with the other guys and came out here and just started doing it.
Whoa. So that's where you're from?
Detroit, yeah.
That's cool. Do you still have family out there?
I do. Mom and dad still live in Detroit, yeah.
There's like a lot of interesting stuff going on with Detroit right now.
Well, yeah, you know.
Like a rebuilding, I guess you could say.
Yeah, rebuilding, sure. You know, my parents live outside the city, so it's not terrible where they live. You know, they have it's a nice spot, and but yeah, certainly the area in general has seen some better days. You know, but I think it, you know, just like kind of everything, it'll come back. You know,
agree.
It goes in cycles, and it's unfortunate, but it'll bounce back.
It's gonna come back for sure.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's right.
I just want to go back a little bit. You were talking about, you know, when you were younger, you were like 21 or so, 23 or something when you went to rehab?
let's see, at 24 is when it was really bad. At 24 is when I started getting the shakes and going through withdrawals and all that. And at 27, I went to rehab.
So like, if you didn't drink, then you would start?
Sure, absolutely, 100%. I had to start every single day with this. It went something like this. Like I would wake up sometimes in the middle of the night, just shaking, twitching, and then take a couple shots, go back to bed. But like every day I would wake up, 3 shots of vodka, boom, 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 put them back, smoke a couple cigarettes, walk my dog, and then like, you know, hit the gym, go like do something, so start my day, you know, like I had to. I couldn't write, I couldn't type, I couldn't think, you know, literally I couldn't like process thoughts and I couldn't talk.
You became totally dependent on it.
100%, 100%.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's so crazy. Well, I mean, I know a lot of young people drink a lot and it's, you know, really cool to like get drunk and whatever. And so like, but it's really interesting because a lot of people don't even realize like how bad it can get until it gets to that point, and then they're like, you know. Yeah,
it's it's that invisible line, you know. It's like in hindsight, when you look back, you can kind of see it.
Yeah.
You know, but when you're in it, it's kind of like things just happen, you know. And then one day you wake up and you're like, man, this is it's kind of bad. And then it's too late, and then you can't stop, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm making new good memories now, new best times of my life, but I have fond memories of those days, you know. Got to tour and hang out with my best friends, and we just, you know, we cracked a lot of jokes and had a lot of fun. I think I laughed, you know, a lot, which is good.
Well, it's good that, you know, you came out and took the good part of that with you and the bad part you left behind. So.
Sure.
So you were on tour back then. Who were you on tour like with? What did you do?
You know, hip hop music, and the name of my group was Out of Control. And we went on the road and played with guys like Swollen Members and Living Legends, Hieroglyphics.
Are these all rappers as well?
Yeah,
okay.
A lot of them are like underground, NorCal kind of guys. But you know, Zion I, Grouch, Black Alicious, open for Mixmaster Mike from the Beastie Boys.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of dudes like that. I mean,
Did you get to talk to him and meet him?
It was a good time. You know, I can't even really remember, probably drunk. You know? But I think, yeah, like we like shook hands, you know, but when you're doing a show with somebody like that, you know, they're not around a lot. Sometimes they have crew that does the sound check and whatever, you know, so you don't quite get the interaction, you know, that a lot of people maybe think that you have, you know what I mean? But I'm pretty sure I met Mike for a second that night and said, what's up, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I'll say Mike's cool. Mike's cool. Shout out Mixmaster Mike.
That's awesome. So how old were you when you were on tour with them?
I was 21 to about 26 in there, you know.
And
somewhere.
were you still, did you have a record label then?
No, we were independent at that point, yeah. We had a couple offers from like little underground record labels that we turned down. But yeah, it was all independent. You know.
Did you plan your tour, or how did that work?
Sure. Yeah. I worked a lot with a booking agent, a good friend of mine, Late Night Billy, from Late Night Productions up there in Lake Tahoe. And so he was doing all the big shows. You know, Billy would have the artists and he would book us. But a lot of the out-of-town stuff I would handle, or other guys from the band would handle that. You know. So kind of a joint venture. Billy hooking up some bigger shows. I'm doing the out-of-town things, and it all just comes together, and you know, there you go.
That's awesome.
Then you're in a car, driving around.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, I mean, it's obviously like for people who are trying to get into this kind of, you know, business and stuff, I think being able to start going on the road and get your name out there, that's like the biggest step of it, right? Like finding, I guess, a booking agent or like.
Well, that's a complicated question. You got to pick and choose, you know, because being on the road like that, it gets tough. You know, there's not a lot of money. You're going broke. You got bills. You got rent. You got to be smart about it. So I would say focus on your hometown. You know, make sure you're drawing in your hometown and then build out from there. And then if good opportunities come to hit the road, take those. And in terms of getting a booking agent, I mean, you got to be big. I mean, nobody wants, it's money. It's money. It's a money business, you know. Like how.
Do you have to pay them up front, or do they just take you on commission, or like how do they work?
It all depends on the venue and what your credibility's like, how many people you draw in. Like I draw well in LA, you know. I draw a couple hundred people, and then depending on the venue, you know, I'll still, you know, sell some tickets, do whatever. You know, it's just all different. It all depends.
Yeah. Well, obviously, also there's the whole online thing, you know, which is huge now.
Sure.
That
Oh yeah,
changed it a lot, right?
Online's, yeah, it's crazy. You know, and I focus on both. You know, I came up the first time before like I was even using an email address. You know, so like it's definitely changed. I was in the venues with CDs, shaking hands with managers. You know, and so I keep doing that. You know, in the streets with flyers, making sure I'm talking to people and shaking hands. You know, and then you do the online stuff too. I mean, because you can blow from, you know, that YouTube video that just, you know, goes crazy.
Yeah.
You know, so that happens as well. But
Yeah, I mean, you've got a good amount of views on your videos on YouTube, and
yeah, they do all right. And then the label Concord and Universal just dropped "Bombs Away." That's the new single off the upcoming album.
Awesome.
So that's on iTunes. The mixtape I did is a free download on my website. It's not on iTunes. So Live from Rehab, you can get it at jonezenmusic.com.
Cool.
And then there's some old stuff on there. I mean, you can grab my old Out of Control albums. And then the Gucci record will be on iTunes, you know, this month sometime. I think early November, October, somewhere in there. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's there.
That's cool. And are you also on Spotify and stuff like that?
Yeah. Spotify for sure. The Bombs Away's up. I think my old albums are on Spotify as well. So yeah, Spotify. Pretty much anywhere you can find music. Google Play, Amazon, Spotify, all that stuff. The music's up there.
Well, cool. Well, what sort of advice do you have for people who are trying to kind of get into doing music, and like the younger kids, you know, who want to do what you're doing?
The younger kids, just figure out something else you want to do, kids. Oh, man. Let's see, advice for the kids, man. Make sure that you love what you do. And if you love what you do and you can figure out and learn from your mistakes and keep pushing forward, then you know what, no regrets. Then by all means, do it up. But if you're not in this because you love music and you don't know how to like live without doing it, you know, you just cannot quit. You know, then you're probably doing the wrong thing. It's not easy, straight up. It's not easy, but it is what I love to do, so I do it.
Well, you've done an amazing job. I mean, obviously, you know, you've gotten so far already, and I can tell that obviously this next tour is going to be huge, and
I hope,
you know, more and more will get your name out there, and like people are going to love your stuff. I think it's got a great message. So
thank you.
Yeah, it's really cool. Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Yeah.
I really wanted to put a deck on my house.
The floor was creaking and there were cracks in the wall.
I had them put in walls in my basement.
Well, the whole thing was done on time, on budget, and not a day of work was missed.
Alpha Structural is a top-rate company. I'd recommend them to anybody.
If you live in a hillside home and gravity is pulling you towards the edge of the cliff, I recommend you call Alpha.
It was a real pleasure to work with Alpha.
So Jonezen, I noticed your shirt, and I think there's a little story behind that. So what is it?
Yeah, the party ain't over. Well, that's what it's all about for me. You know, that's the movement behind the music. That's kind of my, I guess you could call it slogan, tagline, or whatever. But you know what that means is, to me, is just keep pushing, keep working, no matter kind of what happens to you. You know, for me, my story was, when I went to rehab, it seemed as though the party was over, you know what I mean? But then it was like, nah, man, you know, I'm gonna figure out how to do this sober. It's not over, you know? So, and you know, my hope is that people relate to that in whatever they do in their lives. If, you know, I don't care what it is, like you get divorced, you lose your job, you can't do this, that, the other, you know, whatever it is, it's like, nah, man, you know, party ain't over. Like, let's keep pushing. You know, overcoming obstacles, personal demons, you know, and just fighting back. It's about the underdog, you know, and that's the party ain't over. So that's what I represent. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I think that's a very important message. I mean, there's so many people that are going through hard times like that, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm sure they had the same feeling, like that things are over, but So that's really cool that you made that.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's not over. I promise you. There is a way. You know what I mean? It's like a cliche, but I think most cliches are cliches because they're true. But you know, like if there's a will, there's a way. You know what I mean? Like keep after it. You got this.
So how long has it been since you went sober?
Over 2.5 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had no intention of staying sober whatsoever. None. I went to rehab because it was that or homeless. Straight up, it was that or homeless. And I was getting some people off my back, and they almost kicked me out. And then something just changed, you know, something just kind of changed, and slowly it just kind of clicked, and I haven't looked back, you know. I mean, anything can happen, you know what I mean. I don't think I'll drink today, but you know, you just gotta it's a daily thing, you know, just one day at a time, and just keep pushing.
Well, I've had actually a close family member that drank too much and passed away, actually.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think people don't really realize the dangers that are there, seriously.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, look, my thing is not don't drink and don't party. You know what I mean? I'm not out here saying that to anybody, you know. It's all good. You just need to be self-aware and yeah, realize that bad things can happen, but you know, at the same time, if everybody lived their life afraid of everything, no one would ever do anything cool, you know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't, like, skydive and take risks and whatever, so, look, be smart. Drinking and drugs can get ugly, for real, it can. You know, I'm sorry to hear about your friend, but, you know.
Yeah.
Such is life, I suppose, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely unexpected.
That sucks.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, on a lighter note.
Yeah, it got heavy for a second there.
Yeah, that was low. Yeah, I love my love out to him. But so another thing that I thought would be cool is to hear the story about how did you get picked up for the record label that you're with right now? Like.
Okay. Yeah, with Concord, last Thanksgiving, their A&R sent me a message on LinkedIn. So rappers out there, get on your LinkedIn grind.
Whoa, there we go.
Yeah, he sent me a message on LinkedIn and said, hey, send me some stuff, you know, whatever. I sent it to him. We went back and forth at that point with some emails and whatever, and we just kind of fizzled out, you know. And then in May of this year, he got back in touch with me. My old record label got in touch with me, and a few other. There was like this whole swarm of like just getting hit up by people, and so anyway, I sent.
Was that brought on by something specific, or just sort of like happened to be?
It just kinda,
coincidence.
It was really coincidence, you know. It really was. I went to a music conference in San Diego, met a guy, and met two guys down there. So then they were having people send me stuff, but this guy and my other record label were completely random. It just happened to be at the same point. And anyway, I sent him some new music, and he says, okay. And then we had a conference call with him and the label owner, and we talked, went back and forth for about a week, and ultimately I just decided, all right, cool, man, you know, I'll give this a shot, and it's been a good decision thus far.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's huge to have somebody doing all your publicity and like working with you and stuff like that. So
creating opportunities, and yeah, you know, it's nice.
Are you? I don't know if this is something you're allowed to talk about, but like, there's lots of different deals. Like I know, even for me, for example, I was offered a distribution for my show, but they wanted like all the rights to the show for whatever, and not, you know what I mean? Like, there's all kinds of different deals that people can get offered and stuff.
Right.
So what I was wondering about is like, what did you think was a fair deal for you, like to have a record label? Like, where does it go? Like, yeah, this is beneficial and this is awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you know, I don't want to talk about the details of my deal, but I can say that it was fair.
Yeah.
And it was
well, I figured it would be since you went with it.
Yeah, yeah. You know, and I did all right, independent, you know, on my own. So I didn't have, you know, I wasn't like dying for something else. It made sense, you know. And I will say it's not a 360 deal, which is kind of industry standard. But you know.
Can you explain what that is?
And with 360 deals, be like the label takes kind of a piece of everything.
Okay.
You know, they get from touring, from merchandise, publishing, you know, the whole deal, the label makes a piece of that.
Yeah.
And mine's not set up that way.
That's
But, you
cool.
know, they make their percent off the royalties.
Yeah.
And that's that. And, you know, and they do the work and they throw some money around and promote it and stuff. So, you know, fair is fair, man.
That's
and,
cool. Like sometimes there's even people who get like, we now own your image for so and so long.
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
like,
sure. No. Look, I got really fortunate because I'm like a straight up old school business guy. Like, and sometimes to a fault. You know what I mean? Like, I just.
You do a handshake
like,
deal?
Like, we'll handshake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, if we don't have to have a contract, I don't want one. You know? It's just like, let's just handshake, man. Let's just ride. You know? And they were like the same way. So this contract is 1 page long. And I've seen agreements that, you know, management agreements that have come my way that are 20-something pages that I've had to have lawyers read and this, that, and the other. And these guys were cool, man. And aside from like being cool and nice people, they got the work that backs it up. So it
Concord, huh?
Yeah, it worked out.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. I hope people check them out.
Yeah, for sure. Also check out We Are Team Hans. They're good people over there at We Are Team Hans too. They're staffing the whole Monster Energy Sound Rink Get Loud tour with Bone Thugs.
That's right. They're sponsoring it, right?
Yeah, Monster Energy and Sound Rink are putting on the Get Loud tour with Bone Thugs, and then We Are Team Hans is doing tour managing and staffing the crew and stuff like that. But yeah, good people over at We Are Team Hans.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, why don't you let everybody know where they can find you, you know, on social media or...
Right. What's up? All my stuff is pretty easy. It's at Jonezen Music, Jonezen Music. The official website is jonezenmusic.com. Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook are all at Jonezen Music. SoundCloud is just Jonezen. And that's really it. I mean, it's all Google Jonezen, you know, YouTube is at Jonezen Music. It's all pretty simple to find, so that's where you guys can check me out for sure.
Cool. Yeah, go and check it out. It's got lots of music videos on YouTube as well, so.
Yeah, definitely. More to come. More to come.
That's right. Coming out this month.
I think so. Yeah. Well, new music this month. I don't know about videos. I've been sitting on a few. That
Oh, really?
I had. Yeah, well, you know, the label, I had a few ready to go, and so then it's like, we'll hold on to those. So I think we'll do maybe a video for this Gucci record. We'll see. I'm not sure yet. But,
Oh, that'll be amazing.
That would be cool. And but yeah, look for the Gucci record this month, though. That's coming out. It's called Tear the Club Up, featuring Natalia Domini and Gucci Mane.
Great. Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Thank you so much for coming on the
Hey,
show.
thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for watching Jonezen on
The Red Booth.